Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are continuing our preview of the main card of UFC 174 right now with Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com and also calling in from MMAOddsBreaker.com, Brad Tazchuk, MMA analyst. All right, Ryan Jimmo and Ovince St. Preux is the last fight we're going to cover here. OSP is minus 140. Jimmo's plus 120 on the other side, and OSP is kind of raising some eyebrows, right? With he looks like he's a little bit improving. The question here, when you're looking at the value at minus 140, how good is OSP really? Brad Tazchuk, how would you answer that?
Not very.
Okay.
I definitely think that he's one of these guys that he's been touted as, a big prospect in MMA, right, going back to his Strikeforce days, and I've just never really seen it. Obviously, physically he's got some good talent, but in terms of technical skill, he's just not quite there yet. He was struggling against Cody Donovan a little bit. He was even getting out-cardioed by John Vellante, and we saw what happened to Vellante in his last fight against Fabio Maldonado. So there's a lot of areas that really, really concern me about OSP. So even though Ryan Jimmo is not the fighter that he came into the UFC as, right, I still think I have to side with him here. It's kind of weird because he used to be a round winner who wouldn't threaten to finish anybody, and now he lets some rounds slip away, and he's definitely more of a finishing threat than he used to be. So with the plus money, I do like Jimmo in this spot a little bit.
All right, Nick Kalikas, OSP's off of 3 straight UFC wins. Is the public starting to back him, and is he starting to be a fighter who attracts a lot of betting action?
Yeah, it really he is overall.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, OSP, he continues to improve. He's all, like Brad said, he's been touted for a long time since Strikeforce as being, an eventual contender for a title. I'm just not sure if he's there yet either. I think this is, like you guys said, man, this is one of his biggest tests to date. And if he passes this test, then we can expect maybe some better things, because the guy is definitely improving his overall game. His fight IQ is getting better as well. It does concern me that he does fade a little bit as the fight goes on. But you know what? If you look, Jimmo, before he entered the UFC, typically had pretty decent cardio. But he's starting to, in round 2, round 3, he hasn't looked the greatest in the UFC either. He's starting to slow down as well. So it's going to be interesting and round by round. And I don't expect really either guy to get a finish here, even though I should say both guys are very capable of finishing the fights. And Jimmo has looked great since he's been in the UFC as far as finishing power, definitely. So I'm expecting this fight to hit the scorecards, and we should see a very competitive decision. Now, OSP is going to have a huge reach advantage on the feet, and if he gets a little bit busier and stays more active, because Jimmo, that's one problem with him. He tends to start getting a little bit inactive and, lets people hold him against a cage sometimes, just lets people dictate the pace. So if OSP does push forward in round 2 and round 3, I could see him stealing a decision. I've been honestly bouncing back and forth on this fight because it's such a tricky fight, I think, to call here, because Jimmo is, I think, right now the better fighter, but with the improvement of OSP and his overall ability and his physical advantages in this fight, I think he can win it as well.
Right. Brad Tazchuk, would you at least agree with the sentiment that OSP is improving recently?
Yeah, he's definitely improving. We've seen a little bit more of a submission game, some pretty decent wrestling out of him, after he got out wrestled by Gegard Mousasi. So he is improving aspects of his game, but like Nick said, I just don't think he's there yet.
But if you had to take a side here, clearly you'd be taking Jimmo at plus 120.
I would.
All right. Thanks so much, guys, once again.